thing when I got arrested with this guy and took his fall. Should never done that because afterwards he was supposed to be my friend and supposed to protect me. Being that I didn't know anybody and I was scared, but I didn't need to worry. Once the truth came out, the judge was a scumbag. He lost all credibility, and I gained some. Made a lot of friends with these people. They're not all bad, just, problems. Yada yada yada. Story continues. Once we got out. Oh, well, he got out way before I did because they couldn't hold him, even though he was on parole for a burglary arson. Funny thing was, the day I was to be released, the day before he got arrested, apparently he took some farmer's truck, and the farmer beat the crap out of him and got his truck back. So he got sent back to jail. So as I was ready to go out, George wanted to ask me to do him a favor. I walked up to him, ever so calmly. I looked at him, I said, "You and me do not know each other. You fucked me over. I have nothing to do with you. You have nothing to do with me. There's nothing you have that I want. You promised me a motorcycle. I know that's never going to happen. There's nothing I have that you want, so just leave it at that. I don't know you. You don't know me. So, fuck off." And I walked out with him yelling shit at me. I don't know what it was. On the streets, if he saw me, he made threats and wanted to fight me. The posture, "I'll kick your ass." I ignored it because I didn't want any trouble. I'm not going back to jail. Got to the point where I had to tell my PO that he was harassing me. Of course, did not like that since he was sent back on a parole violation, which pissed him off even more. Got a group of his crew to threaten me in a coffee shop that he was going to kick my ass, but wanted me to step out into the alley. Yeah, I'm going to step out into the alley all by myself with 4 or 5 people wanting to stomp me into a freaking mud hole. Not stupid. I told him if he wants to fight me, do it right here. One-on-one. Unfortunately, I did have to pay the manager of the donut shop for the booth that I ripped off the wall. Because I was sitting in a booth and all my friends piled in and wouldn't let me get out. So, and he had some idiot come up to me and go, "These eyes. Remember these eyes. Because these eyes will get you in the end." Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know who you are. I don't know who any of these people were except for George. Right? He gets into a beef with some other guy that wants to kick a shit. And, I'm telling you, George picked the wrong people to fuck with because everybody he fucked with would have killed him. Never picked on anybody his own size. He was a skinny runt. Or somebody dumber than him. I mean, a retarded person he could have handled. Everybody else he had problems with. He was always way above his head, and he didn't have the guts to step up and get vicious. His MO was setting people's houses on fire. He couldn't confront you head face to face. He had to set your house on fire. That's the only way he got at you, was through terror. That type of person, right? So he gets chased by this other guy. He kind of flattens some tires. He gets towed to where he's staying at some dump called the Broadway. Everybody in Scranton knows where the Broadway used to be. I see the car there. I take a pair of steel nunchucks that I built, handmade, in a factory, and I smashed every freaking window, off to the rear view mirrors, the headlights. I did as much damage as I could in 5 minutes, which was considerable back then. And a couple days later, I had a friend spray paint it, go into the dash, smash everything, rip the wires out and stuff like that, to the point where the city towed the car as junk. His pride and joy was now property of the Naples junkyard. Did you know who did it? No. He had the clue that he pissed off enough people and there was enough suspects. Except for some stupid idiot denizen downtown overheard and told him. So all he could do was find out where I lived. And I lived at the time at a boarding house at 815 Jefferson Avenue, catty corner from the Mercy Hospital. It was an old wooden boarding home. Top floor had an apartment, very nice apartment, had like 3-4 bedrooms, very nice. Unfortunately, I haven't lived there for like 2-3 months. You know, I moved out. And he set fire to the bottom of the stairs. The bottom floor had 2 or 3 apartments, beautiful high ceiling apartments. The second floor had a bunch of efficiency apartments, and there was a lot of people living, older people living there. There was a man that lived underneath me. His name was Mike. He helped me out when I needed cigarettes or whatever. Very nice old man. He was the only one that didn't make it out of the fire. The police got to the scene. This is what the police investigating the arson told me, was when they opened the front door, the back blast or the backdraft blew the firemen like 40-50 feet out into the street. And if I was living there on that, if I was there at that time, I would have never made it from that 3rd floor. There was no fire escapes, nothing. And Mike got killed in the fire. Unfortunately, his murder goes unpunished. The police were investigating the arson because it was arson. It was definite arson. They thought I was involved because I owed the landlord a lot of money. I told them when I was evicted, I told the landlord, what should we do about paying you back? I want to pay you back. She goes, forget about it, just get out. No problem. Then somebody else, and then they asked me about my connection with George Worth, and I told him me and him were enemies. I fucking hated his guts. He says, did he know where you lived? I said, I doubt it. Last episode we had together, he made some threats. I wanted to drag me out the alley, blah, 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 this, blah, blah, that. I went to my P.O. officer, and he lost his things. I said, also, he had a car that had some flat tires, and I did some vandalism to it. You did it? I said, I don't think so. And they asked me to look into it. So I looked into it, and I found out that some fucking idiot told him who did it, and that same fucking idiot also told him and led him to where I lived. And that same fucking idiot was there when he set fire to that building. But that fucking idiot cannot be found to this day. I would love to find him. But I do know who was involved. George Worth was there. He set fire. A Bloom guy, what the hell is it? No, Donnie Knowles. Never met the guy before. He's from Moscow, I think, or somewhere up that way. Donnie, I never met him before in my whole life. Don't know what the hell his stake was, unless he was just a lapdog of George. And his girlfriend at the time, a girl of dubious reputation, Dolly Bombard. Got a hold of Dolly. I asked her. She said, yes, George set fire to your where you were living. He wanted to kill you. He wanted you dead.